Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. I'm here to speak to you about the Torah portion, which is actually Tazria, but very often it's a double portion, Tazria, Mitzorah, and Mitzorah is actually next week. But the theme of my talk is leprosy. You may ask, why would you speak about leprosy? Well, the Torah does, and these portions do. I mean, Leviticus is difficult enough, but why would it spend so much time on this terrible affliction? Well, there are many messages here. One is the leper, and it was a terrible, terrible affliction, was generally isolated and set apart from society and excluded. Although in Judaism, we do have a way of bringing the person who is leprous back into the community. And it was a double kind of affliction, and we can relate to that. One is having a dreaded disease, which is bad enough, and the other is being avoided and shunned by society. And we saw this with the AIDS epidemic several years ago. It's interesting about the word Matzorah. You could take it apart, the rabbis did. They said it comes from Motzi Ra, which means bringing a bad report. And they equated that to gossip. Gossip is bringing a bad report. Gossip is worse than murder. That's what our sages say. Because with gossip, you kill 3 times. You kill your own reputation, the one you're speaking about, and you draw someone else into that conversation. There's a very famous story about a famous general in Syria whose name was Naaman. We get this from the Book of Kings. And he was powerful, and he was influential, and he was wealthy. He had it all, and he also had leprosy. And because of that, he became a recluse. And all of his advisors tried to counsel him as to what he should do and what he could do. His medical team offered advice as much as they could with their special potions and ointments, but no one could help him. And finally, it turns out that in his very household, there is a Hebrew servant who attends to his wife, and she lets it be known that back in Israel, there's a prophet Elisha. And Elisha has performed many, many miracles, like the miracle of taking a loaf of bread and an ear of corn and dividing it among 100 people, and miracles like that. So she says, let it be known that there is this prophet Elisha. Maybe the prophet could help the general. And so, lo and behold, they all travel to Israel. But when they get there and want to speak with the prophet Elisha, an assistant is sent with a message. The prophet said, I have a message for you. This is what you should do. Well, Naaman is enraged that he can't meet with the prophet himself, and he has to take advice from an assistant. Nevertheless, his advisors say, you know, General, you've tried everything. Why not try this one remedy, whatever they suggest? And the assistant says, dip in the river, in the Jordan, 7 times. And then you will emerge absolutely clean, clear of leprosy like a newborn baby. And so it was. So what is the message here? Keep it simple. Sometimes we really complicate our lives. But try to keep it simple, keep the message simple, try to keep on track. That's what this story is telling us. It tells us about the danger of speech. It tells us about the importance of inclusion, and it speaks to us about trying to order our lives and keep it on track and keep it simple. We have such an amazing weekend this weekend, beginning with Shabbat. I'm surrounded by artwork. This is the religious school art exhibit, which is taking place. I have actually Menshi right here. I'll explain what Menshi does. We'll have a preschool art exhibit down the hall. And we also have Tat Shabbat, we have a dinner, and for the entire weekend, we have a scholar Dr. Norman Cohen, Midrash professor, who will be so captivating and touch our heart and touch our soul and help us connect with our Judaism and with our most inner selves. You don't want to miss Dr. Cohen, Dr. Norman Cohen, beginning this Friday night, 7:30, and then Saturday, Torah study, 9:15, then 10:30, we're going to have brunch and learn, lunch and learn, and then Sunday morning with Sisterhood and Men's Club at 9:30, we're going to continue the conversation and have a true learning experience, not to be missed. This is an opportunity not to be missed. And here we have Menchie, right over here. What does Menchie do? Well, if our kids perform a mitzvah, then they take a marble, and it goes into Menchie, and Menchie receives the mitzvah. Right into the bucket. But if they do something which they're sorry for, they fill out a slip of paper right over here. They write on it what they're sorry for. It goes into Menchie's mouth right here. And Menchie shreds it. And then they can start all over again after they apologize to anyone they offended. So Menchie's here as part of the art exhibit. We hope to see you throughout the weekend. It's going to be a great one. Shabbat Shalom.